My next upload for today is with regard to what I've been sharing about since individuals started preying on my family and property, and since they started disrespecting my matrimony. Now, just to establish, there has been a huge disrespect to the teaching profession. As an educator since 2003, the issue of individuals causing publicity regarding revenge porn since 2006, still causing problems in this community and causing harms to my child, and an unresolved case as a case obstructed is a huge concern I have as a recovery advocate. So the matter I'm raising in this issue is the offence that I've experienced in my hometown, where I've worked as a humanitarian, where the positive developments of COVID since 2018, 2019 commenced. So the legislation and the initiatives that have been occurring with regard to COVID have originated with my work, and there are individuals disrespecting my work and legislation, and they are also disrespecting my role as a sacred royal. So as a woman experiencing impoverishment, denigration, defamation, disrespect, etc., it's very serious that there have been individuals facilitated in their efforts of revenge porn, and that the very culprits are in my proximity, communicating from where I am living, where they shouldn't be, since 2019. So they're in contempt since 2006 with regard to defamation, publications of revenge porn, and economic, reputational and professional losses that they've incurred for me, or caused for me, as a consequence of their offences, should I say. So they've been of creative and intellectual theft in recent years again, since I became a married mother, and they are in my proximity, disturbing the peace and perpetrating spiritual assaults, false reporting. They're a financial fraud. Now, part of my work in 2017, 2018 was with regard to the matters that involved misdeeds and misconduct over a period of time in the past decade that has recouped for the individuals that were also experiencing misconduct, being recouped and basically being spared further losses. So this issue is really serious in many respects, because the amount of legislative development from my experiences and my personal humanitarian work have been quite huge. Now, they have been of positive developments and positive progress that have been highly disrespected, which is really dangerous when I have not received reparations for all that I am due. Now, it's very serious, as I've mentioned in my previous upload, that inestimable life fragments were damaged from my body and used by disreputable establishments for purposes that aren't lawful or consensual, and that are actually disrespectful. Now, the point I'm getting at with regard to this current abode is that there aren't just the PTRB violations, the whistleblower protection law violations, the threat of very guilty culprits of revenge porn, slander, theft, etc., being in my proximity, preying on my belongings, my personal information, my identity. They have been a financial fraud in the past, and they're still fueling the fire of fraud. So I have a huge concern with regard to wrongdoings. I have a very clean track record, and I have impeccable standards with regard to my profession and my purpose. Now, the point of others that have no interaction, communication, and no integrity, and no conscience or no moral compass, that have confused this situation with their tall tales and caused very serious disrespect to women and children's rights, human rights, and the Constitution, ignoring and negating the positive progress I have been making for the betterment of society, and preying on my identity and my personal information and trespassing on my property with illegalities, disrespecting my matrimony. As a married mother, my family has experienced very serious matters due to people preying on our property in Ardfart Hill and Kilflynn Mountain. I am the property manager of that portfolio, and there have been individuals disrespecting that matter, and that's very serious. So there have been unlawful actions without a proper process. And with regard to this current abode, the individuals of artificial developments, disturbing the peace, distorting information, acquiring information unlawfully, have all been reported in the relevant measures to the relevant bodies. Now, the role of the Mental Health Commission in this entire matter is another very serious issue. I'm a recovery advocate of sanity and sobriety, and as I've said in my previous uploads, I've helped many along the way. Now, the issue of any Mental Health Commission complaints procedure not being addressed is a bit offensive against an educator and a citizen of impeccability. The very fact that my property was trespassed upon in 2017 is an offence. The fact that there has been false reporting and unlawful action since 2016, 2017 is another dangerous offence. And the fact that I am sitting here relaying this due to obstructions and perversions of justice and disinformation and fraud occurring is a very sad sign of the times. So those that are misguided with regard to my matrimonial status and individuals that are preying on a teacher, a married mother, and that are misguided about my choice of profession and that are of slander, are insulting progress that has occurred in the past 2 years. So the progress that has occurred commenced with this person single-handedly, and there has been a huge disrespect of the individuals that are of fraud, fallacy, and failings. So this issue is exacerbating. There are people in my proximity that have no right to be in my proximity, that like distorting the facts of a situation. They're of creative and intellectual theft. And that's going back to 2003. So I'm just wondering, who does it serve? The representatives that uphold the Constitution, who are they serving? Are they serving the rapists? Are they serving the cradle snatchers? Are they serving the adulterers? The thieves? Are you serving the situation against an innocent mother of legislation and sacred royalty? Are you trespassing on my property and violating proximity and privacy? Are you slandering my good name? Are you being cheeky with regard to what you think you're helping yourself to with regard to violations of freedom based on your fraud and forgery? Are you risking other women's lives? Have you harmed other women's lives because of your vendetta against Maria McElligott here in this upload? Have other children been harmed because of your vendetta against Maria McElligott here in this upload? So I'm very concerned about people not respecting the pillars of society, because it doesn't serve people to spin a tale a little bit out of control just for a bit of acreage and frontage that doesn't belong to you. The issue of the mental health and recovery and individuals in society that are of a delusion of the mind intruding upon a woman as imposters are a concern. The practitioners of slander and bad practice are an insult to the Department of Education and its professionals. So as I've worked with many young people and as I have a very clean track record, those insulting my experience as a sacred royal are really insulting a lot of others as well. So it's very dangerous what's going on. And I'm wondering how those that are to uphold are bringing down a society because of acquisition. It's not a very good objective, and I'm waiting 3 years for this matter to be resolved. So as of 2018, there have been positive legislative progress that I personally conducted. The initiatives of the Government of Ireland are aware of that, and there is creative and intellectual theft occurring. So I would appreciate the government contacting me, because I don't like fraud. I don't like women being violated, raped and assaulted, and I don't like perverts preying on married mothers, and I don't like women imposing spitefully and maliciously for a bad cause, and I don't like identity theft. So with regard to the matter of Regents Law, whistleblower protection laws, all of these humanitarian law, etc., these are all being really violated. It's really insulting. It's very serious. So this is for the interest of the women in the Government of Ireland. Is it tolerable that rapists and cradle snatchers be served in a 2021 democracy against a mother that has served her country? I've served my country. I'm experiencing impoverishment and human rights violations and obstructions of justice to serve little people with bad attitudes and inadequacies. That's not very helpful to progress. So I'm very concerned with regard to the future outcomes of these kind of situations when there's been such dangerous offences against faith and family and such. And artificial progress in the past 2 to 3 years of those acquiring from my experiences is a little bit, So as a recovery advocate, this is a message to the individuals that are supporting rape and revenge porn and trespassing into my private space. You're not within remit, and you don't have rights to my belongings or my sacred light or my child or my property or my wealth.